In my idle moments sometimes, I imagine I was in that park in the 8th century. I imagine that I was just one of the servants just looking in at this scene, completely low, looking at the king, looking at his court, looking at the queens, and wondering at the mysterious stranger with nothing in his red robes, standing there, looking at it all, looking at it with a tremendous intensity and yet tremendous calm and some amusement at what was on display, and looking at the king and seeing perhaps for the first time the king rather troubled, rather tense, ill at ease in the face of this stranger. I try to imagine what it would be like to look at this very arrogant court of around King Trisongdetsen, all these courtiers, all these queens, with all their intrigue and all their self-importance, as they stood there, and they're being defied. They're being defied by this man alone, this incredible man with the incredibly handsome face, a lord, a king with nothing, standing, looking. The Padma Kaitan, the testament of Padma, one of the great Terma biographies of Padmasambhava, biographies of liberation of Padmasambhava, gives us an insight into their minds, into what Trisongdetsen and Padmasambhava were thinking. It says this: Padmasambhava spontaneously, in relation to the situation, is looking and thinking, I was not born from a womb. I was born magically from a lotus flower. By birth, I am greater than the king. My lineage of the Buddhas is greater. Right now, the Dharma of Urgyen has hold on Tibet. Who are we two? He and I. He might be the king, but his mind is full of confusion and ignorance. It's plunged in darkness. I have attained Buddhahood in a single lifetime. I am a master of all knowledge, transcendent over birth and death. He has asked me to come here. He's asked me to come to help him to establish the Dharma. And he now, I know, wants me to salute him, to bow to him. But I cannot bow to him, for that would be an insult to the sublime Dharma. Yet, if I do not bow, the king will be angry. So he stood. Guru Padma, the Siddha, the one born from a lotus, just stood, waited, calm, at ease. The king was thinking, I am the emperor of all of Tibet. Already the great Bodhisattva abbot, the monk Shantarakshita, has bowed to me. Now this man, this yogi, Padmasambhava, great though he is, he must bow. He must bow first. So they both stood in this tension. This is one of the great images of Buddhist history. It's an image of confrontation. The confrontation between the world, represented by Trisongdetsen and his court, and the Dharma, the transcendent Dharma, the sublime Dharma in the form of Guru Padmasambhava. Trisongdetsen desperately wants the Dharma in his country, in his land. As the king, he is the land. The land and the king are one. Trisong Detsun wants the Dharma for his country. He knows that it is the best thing for his people. He is sincere, no doubt. But he wants the Dharma on his terms. He wants the Dharma to fit in to his life, to make his life better. He wants, he wouldn't use this word, to integrate the Dharma into him and into Tibetan culture. He wants the Dharma to serve him. And are we not the same? Are we not the same when we read these stories? We never identify with Trisong Detsun and his court. We identify with Padmasambhava. Why? I have no idea why we could think we could possibly identify with Padmasambhava. I don't know, but we should be identifying with Trisong Detsun, because aren't we the same? We say we want the Dharma. We say we want the teachings. We say we want a great teacher to teach us. We maybe go around trying to find the great teacher, maybe always finding fault with whatever teacher or community that we find. We are sincere, we entreat. But how much and on what terms do we want the Dharma? How much do we really want the Dharma as the Dharma? And on what terms, what deal are we going to make with the Dharma? We want it on our terms. Perhaps this is inevitable. We want the Dharma usually to make the samsara, conditioned existence, our life, more comfortable, more manageable. We use the Dharma so that we can manipulate things, so that, yes, we can have all the things in samsara, but without the grief, without the dukkha. Maybe we're not very conscious of this, but that is going on. I do it. I know that I do it. Perhaps I'm projecting onto everybody, but I don't think so. We are not a king or queen, for sure. We're not a powerful minister. But we want to be in charge. We want to manipulate the world to our ends. And we use the Dharma to do that. But the Dharma, the real Dharma, reality, the truth, the teaching, the real teacher, the Buddha Dharma, will not let you do that. Will not let you do that. The Dharma, the real truth, it, he, the real teacher, they, the teacher and the teaching, they will just stand there in all their simplicity and stillness and just look at you. Just look at you in amazement at your delusion. They're just looking at us in our delusion, playing our games even with the Dharma. And they refuse to bow. They're waiting for you to bow. And the Dharma is so attractive, so handsome, like Guru Padmasambhava, so sublime, so fascinating. We don't want to bow, but we can't stop looking. What are you going to do? We just stand there, waiting.